Our next speaker, we've flipped the schedule around a little bit because John Fleming from Walmart is going to be here after the break. But our next speaker is going to be Tom Murry, who's the president and CEO of Calvin Klein. Tom has been with Calvin Klein for the past 11 years and has really done a terrific job of creating this fantastic, extraordinary brand that has always been known at the very high end of the business and always known for extraordinary fragrance business and then eventually a great underwear and intimate apparel business. But he's expanded it to multiple categories and classifications and has made this a highly, highly profitable and successful brand in addition to just a well-known fashion brand. He gets a lot of the credit. He supervises all product categories for Calvin Klein. Supervises the strategy, the marketing, and the sales development. So without any further delay, let me introduce the President and CEO of Calvin Klein, Tom Murry.
Thanks again, Terry. Thanks very much, Terry. I really appreciate it. You know, I had the privilege of speaking here a few years ago, and I'm really happy to be invited back, and I'd like to be invited back again. And I said to my wife a couple of years back, I said, you know, I'm getting quite a few speaking engagements. I must really be a dynamic speaker. And she said, Tom, every time you do a presentation, you show images and videos of young, beautiful people, half of which are half naked. So, okay, and that's part of what we are. That's what we do. So I'm not going to disappoint you today because I do want to get invited back again. So what we're going to do, I'm going to start with a PR video that's going to show you a lot of the activity that's occurred about the last year in the video, in the PR and in the celebrity dressing area. Talk a little bit about our organizational structure, brand marketing, global communications, explain our brand architecture to you, the international freestanding brand store strategy for around the world, innovation within our existing businesses and some of our new business opportunities out there. And then we're going to close with a historical advertising video that starts with Brooke Shields back in the mid-'80s and brings you up to current and some advertising that I don't think you've seen yet. And then we'll close with a Q&A. I know that looks like a lot, Melinda, but I'll be out of here on schedule. So I think we'll start with the video. Thanks. So as I was saying, it really is an important part of what makes this brand as strong as it is and keeps making it stronger. So, you know, I heard an economist the other day say that, well, first let me go back to the heading, Brand Building and Market Share Growth in a Difficult Economic Environment. As I said the other night, I picked this title about 6 months ago. I certainly would have changed the adjective from difficult to something much more stronger than that. But I heard an economist the other day say he was beginning to sense a deflation of gloom on the consumer part. Well, it sounds a little like grasping for straws, but I'll take it. The other thing that I thought was sort of interesting is I heard Haley Barbour, the governor of Mississippi, the other day when he was asked about Obama's stimulus package. He said it reminded him of a newborn infant. Its insatiable appetite on one side and complete irresponsibility on the other. So I don't know how relevant that is today, but I just thought it was funny. In our view, brand building and market share growth are fundamentally the same in a weak economy or a strong economy. It starts with a strong brand, consistent product design and execution over an extended period of time, and a long-term strategy as it relates to distribution control. Of course, it is very important to consistently maintain the brand image and innovative marketing and advertising. We believe we have created a business model which will enable us to continue to build our brand and grow market share for many years to come. This morning, I will highlight many of the initiatives and strategies which we believe will enable us to achieve our long-term goals. Even in light of the global economic environment, 2008 was another milestone year for Calvin Klein. As we celebrated our 40th year in business, the company also achieved a record $5.8 billion in global retail sales. That was accomplished through a combination of increasing sales with existing accounts, such as two of my favorites, Macy's and Saks, are here today, expanding total points of sale, and growing our freestanding stores to over 600 locations around the world. Certainly 2008 was an unprecedented year. While our company continues to plan cautiously, we believe that our global strategy, coupled with our industry leadership and the strength of our brand, will enable us to continue our success and gains during these difficult economic times. The company's brands and products are strategically diversified across geographies, categories, and tiered price points to minimize downturns that occur from region to region. We saw that model successfully tested in 2008. Calvin Klein as a division not only delivered, but once again we exceeded our financial plans. Since its founding in 1968, the company has strived to be a market share leader in a fiercely competitive industry. As we have seen the retail environment shift, change, and ultimately redefine itself over the past 4 decades, we feel that we're taking measures that will benefit our organization and position our brand to become even more meaningful on a global basis. We believe that by continuing to design and deliver great product, we will come out of this recession with a larger footprint than when we went into it. While we do not consider ourselves immune from the significant challenges that exist, we see that in these uncertain times, our retail partners and ultimate consumers are more comfortable aligning themselves with a proven brand with a solid reputation and a quality product. We continue to build upon our existing businesses and carefully and prudently introduce innovative merchandise, brand-appropriate extensions, and complementary new product lines in order to enhance our offering and extend our global reach. As a testament to this, in 2008, the company successfully introduced a new branded e-commerce site, men's and women's golf apparel, women's performance wear, and a furniture line exclusive to Macy's. While these are not necessarily large volume businesses for the company, they demonstrate strategic opportunities to further extend the Calvin Klein lifestyle into new complementary businesses and expand beyond our current distribution. But it's not just great product and solid execution that contribute to our success. It is important to recognize the team of industry leaders and award-winning design talent that operate behind the scenes. The top 25 executives of the organization alone represent over 160 years of hands-on experience within Calvin Klein and over 500 years of experience in the fashion industry. As I indicated, over $5.5 billion in sales globally, with global distribution in over 75 countries, in over 25 licensed product categories, and distributed, it says 520. It's over 600 freestanding stores around the world. I like to show this slide because it just shows, and Terry, I'm 13 years, not 11, so. But you can see the number of people that have been here, and quite a number of these people, myself included, were hired and trained by the best, Calvin Klein and Barry Schwartz. I just show this organization. This is a functional organizational chart because I think it gives you an indication of how we're able to control this great brand in so many countries and in so many product categories. Headquarters are in Manhattan. We have a marketing area. We have our own inside advertising agency and public relations agency that does all the PR that you just saw. All of our creative directors for all of our various brands reside in New York in our headquarters, which is the exact same building that Barry and Calvin founded the company in over 40 years ago. And we have the standard finance, HR, legal, and our retail division. We also have a miniaturized mirror image of all of these functions in our Tokyo office, our Hong Kong office, and our largest facility in Milan, which is where we also hold our men's collection shows twice a year. We've gotten a tremendous amount of global recognition for the advertising and the PR. I'm not going to go through all of these, but Time and Style, the best known brand among those born in the U.S. after 1980. Time and Style, 08, the Global Luxury Survey. One of my best things here is UK Best Known Luxury Brands. We rank up with BMW, Ferrari, Porsche, Rolls-Royce, and Calvin Klein. How we get with all those cars, I don't know, but it's a cool group of cars to be associated with. Number one in the UK. We lost our number one position on Women's Wear Daily to Tommy. Can't think of a better entity, a company to lose it to. I don't know how that happened. We had it for 5 or 6 years running. This is a great bit of research done by Nielsen last April. They talked to over 20,000 consumers in 11 countries around the world. And when they were asked which of the following brands and products do you buy, we ranked number one in the world. And you can see the other rankings of some pretty distinguished brands. One of the interesting things also about this research is they said that over half of the consumers they talked to perceive Calvin Klein as a luxury brand. Well, we're not a luxury brand. What we are is a global lifestyle brand with an important luxury component. But it's just interesting that that's their perception. In 08, we spent $139 million on media, that's pure media, and advertising in 45 countries. 4,224 advertising pages, 3 billion impressions, and this has been going on for about 25 years. We've spent over $2.5 billion advertising the brand over the 25 years, so it's a very big part of who we are and what gives us the global reach that we have. In fact, I travel all around the world quite a lot, and I do my own little mother-in-law survey. I'll go into a store, whether it be Dubai or Mumbai, and I'll ask if I can find somebody that speaks English. I'll ask them if they've ever heard of Calvin Klein, and 95% of the time they say yes. And the other amazing thing is they say, well, how would you describe it? What's the aesthetic? And they say the same things that we all say: clean, modern, sexy, and John, those things that you know. So it's really amazing to me that we have that privilege and that honor. You can see our ad spend, and 2008 to 2009, we're going to keep it just basically flat, which is not an easy thing to do in this economic environment, but we think it's extremely important. In 2008, the value of only one full-page editorials achieved the Calvin Klein globally equated to approximately $79 million, or $236 million in the ASA value. That's a formula that they use because editorial has credibility worth about 2.5 times what advertising has. So this is a really exceptional return on that. These are our creative directors. Francisco Costa has been with us for 7 years. Italo Sekeli has been with us for 9 years. Francisco is women's collection, Italo is men's collection. Kevin Kerrigan has been with us for 11 years, and he's the creative director for all of our white label and CK Calvin Klein bridge products around the world. Francisco won the Women's Wear Designer of the Award, CFDA, in 2006. He won it again in 2008. Italo Sekeli was nominated in 2007 and nominated again this year, and we kind of think he might win, but I don't want to jinx him. This is what our brand architecture looks like. We start at the top of the pyramid with our black label products. It's our designer level products, and we drop down to the bridge level, which is on a gray label. This is, for the most part, a freestanding store strategy outside of the United States and Europe and Asia. This is our white label. This is our core business, the opening price point business. It's our department store business. And you would do a lot of business with this brand, with Macy's, obviously, and other department stores in the United States. This is fundamentally a U.S. business. I like to show this slide because it shows the breadth and depth of all the different businesses we're in across each of our 4 major product categories. So how the volume breaks down, and you can see in 2003 we're about 2.7 million. That was the year of the acquisition by Phillips Van Heusen. We've been pretty busy developing new businesses and intensifying business since then, so we fundamentally doubled the business from 3 to 2007. 8 was a little more of a challenge, but you can see we showed an increase in sales there. In constant dollars, we're going to have another nice increase, 08 to 09. But we got hit by the currency. It feels like a little bit of a sucker punch with all the other stuff that's going on right now. But even considering the currency impact, because all of our businesses that are done outside the United States, which is about 55% of our total business, we're paid in foreign currencies, particularly the European business. So that's had a significant impact. But in spite of that, we're still planning to be flat in 09 versus 08. In an environment where flat is the new up, we feel pretty good about that. The thing I like about this slide, if you look at 06 down through 010, you can see that our business by region remains relatively constant. And this is surprising to me because we talk about all the growth that's occurring over in Asia, China, the other emerging countries. But these are business plans. These are internal as well as external business plans just completed for our 09 budget. So I think it illustrates very good geographic diversification. This is the freestanding store chart. In the United States, you can have critical mass because there's so many department store doors and that sort of thing, and great luxury chains like Saks, et cetera. When you get outside of the United States for a brand at our price point to be in channels of distribution that are appropriate for the brand, you really have to have a freestanding store strategy. So we have over 600 stores in 08. We'll be up to 720 or more through 09, and we're taking advantage, particularly throughout the emerging countries, of lower labor costs and lower rents right now. So we see real good market share growth opportunities with this freestanding store strategy. This is just to show you what each of the different retail concepts look like. This is our Madison Avenue store. This is Madison Avenue store. On the right is the home floor down below. On the left is the ready-to-wear floor on the first level. This is a CK Bridge store at Fashion Walk in Hong Kong. This is a Calvin Klein jeans store, Times Square in Hong Kong. This is one of our Calvin Klein underwear stores, also at the Fashion Walk. And this is one of our 10 new specialty stores that we opened in the United States. I think we couldn't have picked a worse time in probably the past 50 years to open a new retail concept, but we did it. We have 10 of them. They're great looking plants to start and get some traction, but like all the other stores that we have, they're really great branding platforms as well as revenue opportunities. I'm not going to go through there's a lot of content on these slides. The whole point here is just to show you that in our biggest businesses, our partners and ourselves are very, very innovative. We continue to, on the fragrance business, to have an innovation rate of between 30 and 35%. That's just referring to new products introduced year over year. Some of the things that have really worked, we have the global launch with CK1 that's working quite well around the world. And we just continue, as I said, to be very active on the innovation side here. The underwear business on a global basis is doing extremely well for us. And the significant thing here is we last year established ourselves in the foundation business. We were really never taken seriously in foundation. When you think of the Calvin Klein physical body type, it's slim and not full-figured or full-busted or whatever the right words are. But so we cast Eva Mendes for our new foundation commercial, and my wife's laughing at me, and we really established ourselves seriously as a foundation business. So that's a big deal for us. Jeans business continues to be very solid. We get into a little bit of trouble with some of our advertising here. It's not intentional. We try to create great advertising, great artful advertising, and sometimes the censors don't understand it. I'll digress for just 20 seconds to tell a story that I thought was kind of funny. I was having dinner out in Beverly Hills a few months ago, and it was right after the Eva Mendes commercial was out. And there was a lot of controversy, a lot of censorship, and you saw she was on the Jay Letterman show. He was a few tables away, and I sent my business card over, and I said, if he's not too busy and if it wouldn't be interrupting him, I would just love the opportunity to say hello and introduce myself to Jay. So he came over in 5 seconds. He's standing right here, and just very down-to-earth guys. Some of you people may have met him. I said, Jay, I just want to get one thing straight. We don't set out to get commercials, to produce commercials that are going to be censored. We try to create great artful advertising. I got about that far, and he said, you are so full of shit. So I said, well, okay, I tried, but. So the new product that we're coming out with, and some of you may have said, we had to do 10 different versions of this commercial because the 6 or 7 of them were censored for the United States, but it runs, I guess, after 10 o'clock in some of the cable stations, and there's some viral activity going on with it, but it's a really great campaign. But as it relates to the new body jean introduction, new men's and women's profile enhancing, you can define that for yourselves, profile enhancing jean. For both men and women. We booked 100,000 pairs just with the initial orders around the world, so this looks like it's going to get some traction and be a big business for us. This is our home business. We introduced 2 new furniture lines in the United States. We exclusively at Macy's, we introduced our new white label, and we also have the Curator Collection, which is a higher priced product category that's in fine furniture stores around the United States. We also got into the golf business recently, as I indicated. And take a little hiatus from the United States in the golf business. It's kind of going through a sorting out period, but we've seen strong growth in Europe and in Asia, particularly in Korea, Japan, and in China. We launched our new website this last August, utilized in-house as well as external partners for this. It's about a $2.5 million business in sales for the first 5 months. We're not unhappy with that. We're just kind of tinkering with it, playing with it. And we see this as a great opportunity to showcase the brand over time, but it's also a revenue opportunity for us. We opened the 10 new specialty stores that I talked about earlier. I really just put this slide in to show you how busy we've been since 2005 with new major product launches and new major categories of business. So we launched 6 in 05. We're up to about 31 through 09. And I think what I'd like to do now is I'll play the historical advertising video and then come back for Q&A. Thanks. Like I said, that's why I keep getting invited back. So, but that is, it's a very important part of what we do. Melinda, we're still barely on time. So, if there are any questions, yes, sir.
Thank you. I'm a faculty from Mexico, and I had been in China for visiting faculty a few years ago, one semester, and I saw CK every place, but they were imitations and piracy. How are you dealing with piracy outside of the U.S.?
Well, it sort of comes with the territory if you're a big, successful brand. It's something we've been working on for over the last decade. And we have a global network of law firms. It's the McKinsey Group that works with us and works with the local government and does everything we can to control that. As long as we're a popular big brand, we're never going to control it 100%. But I believe it's quite a lot better than it was 5-6 years ago, and we continue to remain very focused on it.
I had a question. You were talking about your new Glendale design store back here, sorry. And you mentioned its branding as well as revenue. And I was curious how you balance that and really calculate the value of brand when the store on paper might not be a profitable store.
Well, you have to look at it long term. I believe when you get into a freestanding store environment, particularly now, you have to have a 5-year horizon. And that's what we have. So, every day that someone walks by that store and has a look at it, I believe that it has a positive impact on that consumer from a branding standpoint. But we don't do hardly anything without a 5-year trajectory. Hopefully we'll break even before that, but that's basically the plan.
Hi, Tom. I'm Nikki from UW Stout. You talked about generating new channels of business, and I was wondering kind of how that affects the skills and experiences you look for in employees, especially to keep your brand innovative yet still consistent.
I missed the first part, I'm sorry.
How you talked about generating new channels of business. I'm wondering how that affects what you guys look for in skills and abilities of future employees.
How does developing new channels of business impact our brand? Yeah, we're very careful about that. We're very careful from 2 standpoints. One, we don't get into any new product category that we don't think first will enhance the brand, second, be a revenue opportunity. If we do it the other way around, it's a short-term strategy. Myself and our management team feel like we are temporary custodians of this incredible brand. So we try to make all of our decisions 5 years out, 10 years out. So we look at channels of distribution. We don't go below the department store channel. That's where we start. And I'm on the operating committee at our parent as well. We have plenty of other brands for the other channels. So we look really careful at what product categories we should get into and controlling our channels of distribution. So I think it's fundamentally, that's part of it. The other really big part of it is making sure, to the best of our ability, that consumer always has a positive experience purchasing a Calvin Klein product. Whether it's online, brick and mortar, or however they do that, we want them to have a high quality, well-designed, intrinsically priced product. So that's the other component to that. What's that? Okay, thank you very much.